Well, thank you so very much. My name is Icy Williams, and I am the project lead on the Walsh Kokosing Design Build team for the Diversity and Inclusion Outreach Plan. And what I want to, first of all, thank Sharon and her team, as well as Andrea and her team, for collaborating with me on this effort, because our intent is to really reach as many certified DBEs or non-certified DBEs as we possibly can to gain interest and consideration for the Brent Spence Bridge corridor project that is taking place in Ohio and Kentucky. So thanks again, ladies, for accepting this opportunity to do this with me. I'm going to run through this fairly quickly because I want to make sure that we leave time for Q&A. And if I speak a little fast, forgive me for that. But the slides will be available as well as my resource connections from an email standpoint is also available if you want to reach out to me later on. But what I plan to do today is very quickly share with you information on this Brent Spence Bridge project, corridor project. I want to share with you some information on the Diversity and Inclusion and Outreach Plan, as well as on the workforce needs, and then also share with you contact resources. As you have interest and thoughts around this project. This is a landmark diversity and inclusion opportunity. It is historic for this community of Ohio and Kentucky, where there's opportunities for disadvantaged enterprise participation, as well as in the workforce development. I look at this project because of the size of this project for this area is transformational. And you'll see that as I walk through the DIOP plan, because it's bigger than just about the goals. It's really about changing culture. It's about changing mindsets and being inclusive in lots of many ways to get more and more people involved in the transportation and construction industry. This slide kind of shares with you what the total project overview is going to look like, where we're talking about 8 miles of corridor from, if any of you know a little bit about Cincinnati area, when we talk about the Western Hill Viaducts, that is in Ohio, but there's 5 miles as it looks at I-75 going into Kentucky, and then there's 3 miles of I-75 in Ohio. This new companion bridge is west of the existing bridge. So we're not tearing down one bridge and just putting in another, but this will be a new bridge in addition to the existing Brent Spence Bridge already. And the estimated total amount of this project is roughly $3.6 billion for each of the segments. I'm going to very quickly walk through those segments. There is the Ohio segment, which is really widening I-75. And there's a lot more data associated with that. There is the river crossing segment, which is truly looking at the new double-deck companion bridge. And those are areas that are still being considered right now in terms of the bridge. No final design has been decided yet on what that bridge is going to look like or be, but I'll share with you some of the thoughts associated with that later on. And then there is the Kentucky segment, which is really widening I-71 and I-75 for that 5 miles into Kentucky. So let's talk a little bit about what this total project from a standpoint of the design of this project. It is considered to be a progressive design build project, which is a little bit different than what most construction projects is usually time and materials but this is a progressive design build project, and it's based off of phasing this project so that they can maintain cost and other ideas as they are brought into the project, and those get incorporated as the project moves forward. This is a tentative look at the major milestones, some that has already happened, which the selected contractor was decided in July. The subphase 1A proposal development was done in late July and then September. And then the prime contractors that were selected got a notice to proceed to actually start some work on October 2nd, 2023. So we're early in the project yet. And you'll see that as I walk through the balance of these slides. But if you notice, this contract completion is 11/1/30. So you're looking at a project that is roughly 7 years going forward. And so that's again why this can be a very transformational and substantial project for the Ohio and Kentucky region, because it gives us an opportunity to make those cultural and mindset changes and behavioral changes that are needed to get more individuals, more agencies, more involved in the transportation and construction industry. So this is a little bit in terms of what a progressive design build project is. It's really about selecting based upon qualification and pricing. They're looking to really offset some of the construction market uncertainties. When you do time and materials, you actually have a set cost in terms of what that cost is going to be, and then you break it out based off of cost of materials. But this is going to really look at the market over time and what inflation is doing with materials or agencies or et cetera, as well as the supply chain, as well as look at availability of materials in order to keep the costs down. This progressive design is also looking at pricing materials closer to construction. As I talked about before, it provides an opportunity to allow for innovative concepts to come in so that we can continue to make it the best win for Ohio and Kentucky. And it also provides great opportunity for outreach, making sure that we are including local agencies in our coordination as this work moves forward, ensuring that traffic and incident management is taken care of, as well as aesthetics. Those are some of the key areas that are looked at as we walk through this progressive design build process. This is just a quick look at where we are today and where we are moving forward as we think about progressive design. The request for proposals, has started in this October timeframe, but only for phase 1A. Phase 1 is a 9% DBE goal, and then all of the other components of the DIOP plan. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. You look at subphase 1B in terms of project development. So what I really want this, have you think about this at this point in time, is we are early in this project as it pertains to scope of work, as well as moving into phase 2, which is really where most of the spend and the work scopes are going to play out, which is in construction. But we are in proof of concept as it stands right now, and we will be in proof of concept until April, May, June of 2024. I won't walk through all of these objectives as it pertains to the project, but I want to emphasize just a couple of them, because the DIOP plan in its work that is going to be happening across the 3 states that are involved in this. Again, I want to emphasize the impact is going to be directly on Ohio and Kentucky, but the DBE certifications are across Ohio, Kentucky, as well as Indiana. There is reciprocal processes in place for each of those 3 states to be able to work on this project. So, but one of those that I really want to call out is to provide the opportunity for workforce development and DBE utilization. And so as we think about the DIOP plan, or the diversity, inclusion, and outreach plan, we really want to think about, what is that transformational outcome that could happen, because we are really doing community engagement, we're doing workforce engagement, we're doing outreach with our DBEs, as well as non-DBEs who have an interest in becoming a DBE and then being a part of this project. So let's get into the Walsh Kokosing Design Build team, so that you can have a sense of when the states got together and made the decision around who they were going to choose as the prime. This was the two construction companies that came together and won the award for this project. So this is the Progressive Design Build team selection. The contractors, based off of a joint venture, is Walsh Construction Company and Kokosing Construction Company. And as a part of their partnership, they looked at several other companies to be included in this full design build team selection to win the contract. And the design consultants is AECOM, Jacobs Technical Service, Parsons Engineering Group, and then Web Ventures LLC. There's a little typo there, so disregard that. So as a part of Web Ventures, I am the lead manager out of Web Ventures on this project team. And so I am the lead on the Walsh Kokosing Design Build team for the DIOP plan. Also, I want to give you a feel and a look of who else is on the Web Ventures LLC team. So again, you have myself, I've got Lisa Williams Nelson, I have Valda Freeman Carmo, I have Jasmine Ramsey, and then the Web principals is Howard Elliott, Henry Brown, and Bill Witten. That makes up the Web Ventures LLC teaming partners with the Walsh Kokosing Design Build team. So what is this outreach and what are we trying to go do with that? This is the commitment from the Walsh Kokosing leadership team and the Walsh Kokosing Design Build team for our outreach and inclusion plan, that they are clearly committed to ensuring that we are inclusive, not only with the DBEs for job opportunities, but also for workforce opportunities. And we're going to look at not only opportunities for DBEs, but we're also going to look at it for other minority and women-owned businesses, which includes our veterans, our service-disabled veterans. This project, because it is a federal project, will only recognize certified DBEs when it comes to the goal. But we will track other non-minority owned companies as we look at this project. But those minority owned companies, whether they're male or female or service disabled veteran, if they're not a certified DBE, it will not count against the goal. The company is also conducting ongoing DBE and small business outreaches across all of the tri-states. Again, that is Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. We will be documenting and tracking and reporting against all of those. Our intent is to meet and or exceed that 9% DBE goal in phase 1. And we're continuing to collaborate with the BSMT to establish the DBE goal for phase 2. And right now that target is set at 7% of the remaining dollars that is left after phase 1. I won't go through the last 2 bullet points because I want to ensure that we have time for Q&A at the end, okay? But to give you a feel of, the components of this diversity, inclusion, and outreach plan, it's bigger than just about the 9% and the 7%. Certainly that is what we all put a lot of focus in on, but there are 8 components of our diversity and inclusion and outreach plan, which is not only the performance plan, which really looks at what is that percent that we're going for in each of those phases, which looks at the work scope based upon what gets defined that DBEs or non-DBEs might be available and ready to bid on or quote on. There is also the plan that talks about our attainment and tracking plan. This is part of the commitment, not only back to Walsh Kokosing, but it's a state compliance and it's also federal compliance that we do this kind of goal attainment and tracking so that people, the community understands where we are, what's going on, and can ensure that they are seeing the outcomes of this project within the impacted communities. The DBE outreach plan, which is really about doing workshops and events so that we are out in the communities across the 3 states, making sure that folks understand where we are, what's going on, and how we are being as inclusive as possible in reaching small firms, DBE firms that are interested in working on this project. Then there's the DBE development plan. Is really looking at how do we think about the growth and development of our DBEs, ensuring that they have the capacity, capability, and the skills to be able to work on the project. There's also the compliance plan that's looking at all of the federal and state regulations and compliances that are required, whether that's prevailing wages or CUF, I forget about what that UF stand for, so forgive me for that right now. But those are some of the documents and tracking that is absolutely needed during that compliance plan. Then we're going to look at on-the-job training performance, and this is a state program that is really looking at male and female and the diversity of individuals that is going to be working on the project. And then there is the workforce development plan. You know, how do we get into the grade schools and the high schools, as well as colleges and communities, universities, so that we are reaching out and ensuring that folks understand what the transportation and construction industry is, and what are the kinds of careers and jobs that are available as a part of this project. And then last but not least is our community engagement plan. Is how do we keep our communities updated, and we are clearly hearing the ideas and needs and the concerns that our communities are having because of this project. And so we need to be out in the community, engaging with them, understanding what's going on, and ensuring that they understand and know where the project is moving forward. So those are the 8 components of the DIOP plan. And it's bigger, again, than just meeting the goals of phase 1 and phase 2. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of what's going on in phase 1A and 1B in terms of DBE opportunities. Because if you remember back when I shared with you the milestones, we are not into phase 2. We are really just dealing with phase 1A and 1B. And phase 1A goes all the way till April of 2024, and 1B goes until April, May, June of 2025. So these are some of the phase 1A and 1B pre-construction work scopes that will be available to DBEs and non-DBEs during this time period. Office property management, office support services and supplies. Again, these are not limited to only these. This is just a tentative view. You can see the cleaning services, office supplies, printing, catering, and then under office build out, one of the things as a part of this project is there will be a project management office. A building has been purchased by the state called the Longworth Hall, and that piece of property is going to be built out, and that's where the bi-state management team, which is Kentucky and Ohio, will be housed along with the project team of Walsh Kokosing Design Build team. So that's the building that I'm in reference to right now that is being built out to accommodate those two groups of individuals. But underneath that, not only the building itself will need some renovation, but there's, you know, plumbing and heating that's needed. There's electrical, there's office furniture. And again, not all of the items are listed there. And then there's also an area of design services, which is not limited to just to this group, but this is at least a basis of scope that will be a potential for DBEs as we move forward in 1A and 1B. To give you kind of a sense of one of the component plans, which again, that was the first one that I shared with you, which is the DBE performance plan. You can kind of see from a phase 1 standpoint, again, that goal is 9% in phase 1A and 1B. And our intent, based upon the commitment from leadership of the design build team, is that we want to meet or exceed that goal. But if we just look at the 9%, it's roughly $24.3 million, which is considered to be phase 1A and 1B. Where we are in terms of our milestone schedule right now, as we looked at from 10/2/23 to June of 2024, the estimated dollars that will potentially be spent with DBEs is about $4.5 million. And then as we get into phase 1B, the additional dollars will be approximately 19 million, 0.8 with DBEs, which will get us to the 9%. But if we exceed that, then that $24.3 million will go up to be higher than that. And so that's the commitment of leadership, is to meet or exceed that 9%. You can see that most of the dollars that are going to be spent is in phase 2. And right now, again, that goal is targeted at 7%. And that estimated work availability of scope is going to potentially start to take place somewhere in that January through June of 2025, with the project actually taking off in mid to late of 2025. And these are some of the scope items that will be definitely looked at as we think about construction in phase 2. I won't go through all of those. As we all know in construction, and based off of this being a heavy highway and bridge project, there's going to be lots of steel, there's going to be lots of concrete, there's going to be a lot of trucking, there's going to be a lot of those types of things that will be happening with this bridge. But there's also the ancillary types of things that I'm hoping that DBEs and non-DBEs are taking a look at based upon of their skills, capabilities, and current work performances that says, hey, this is where I see I could fit. Let me really think about, do I want to be involved in this project? And that's the intent behind this, is to, if there's interest, if there's thoughts, if you're interested in getting involved now, start to think about that, work back with your agencies, and I'll share some resources with you before the end of this so that you can make connections to get involved now, so that you can be prepared not only for the ending of phase 1B, but also definitely be prepared for phase 2 as we get into construction. Some of this might be a little light for you to see, but in phase 2, again, that targeted is 7% as it pertains to the dollars that are being spent. And again, I just want to reference to you, if there's interest, if you're already a DBE, start thinking about your capabilities, start thinking about your NIC codes based off of past experiences that you've done before. Get your NIC codes updated and ensure that they are inclusive of all of the work that you've been doing over time. If you're not a DBE today and you're interested in this work, again, connect with the resources that I'll share later on so that you're prepared for any work that might come out of phase 1B, as well as going into phase 2, which is estimated to get started around June of 2025. I want to talk a little bit about the workforce needs, and I'm only going to focus in on Walsh and Kokosing workforce needs. And these are QR codes if you're interested based off of the workforce needs that these two companies have. We will continue to work with the other teaming partners, which is AECOM, Jacobs, and Parsons, to understand what are their workforce needs. And then as we get knowledge of those, we will share those with you as well. But this is some of the types of work that is needed in phase 2. Of course, we talked a little bit about the on-the-job training, which that goal is still being collaborated on and will be totally defined very soon. And that is a state on-the-job training program that the Walsh Kokosing Design Build team, DIOP plan team, is going to have to engage with and ensure that we are working to make that happen in terms of on-the-job training. You can see from a standpoint, just from what Walsh Kokosing is believing that needs to be done, is there are going to be at least 500 tradespeople in 2027 that's going to be needed. And these are the trade groups, which work is going to be needed through, from the laborers, the carpenters, the iron workers, the operator, and the masons. Again, this will be union labor on this job. And so as you're thinking about potential job opportunities or workforce opportunities, there are clearly much work that is going to be needed in that area to get the kind of participation that is going to be needed for phase 2. Also in the non-trade construction management areas, from the professionals staffing side of it, you can see that there are project engineers, assistant project managers, accounting staff is going to be needed. And then Walsh and Kokosing is looking at this and estimating about 150 non-trade employees in 2027. So the workforce opportunities are out there, and that's why we are engaging. The DIOP plan talks about really getting into community colleges, getting into four-year colleges, as well as anyone who might be in a professional role today in another company might be interested in getting into the transportation and construction industry. And we're going to be looking at all of those areas as we go forward. I'm a little early, I think, but this absolutely gives us a chance to really talk about if there's any Q&A that people want to ask. But here are the resources within Walsh Kokosing of folks that you can reach out to and ask more questions. That's myself. That's my email address, as well as the Walsh Kokosing Brent Spence email address. So either one of those, if you have questions, you need clarification, or you're interested in this project, don't hesitate to reach out to us to learn more about it. If you are currently a non-DBE and you're interested in this project so that your award or your opportunity can be counted against the goal, these are the ODOT and KYTC contact information. I don't have Indiana on here because at this point in time, KYTC and Indiana are collaborating. So if you are certified with with Kentucky, you're also being included in the database if you're certified with Indiana. But these are ODOT and KYTC contact information. So utilize this if you're interested in becoming a DBE for any of this work that's on the Walsh Kokosing Design Build team. So with that, I'm going to go back to this slide, which is the Walsh Kokosing Design Build team contact information and resource information, and stop at this point and just see if there are any questions that anyone want to ask at this time. No questions?
Yeah, I have a question. What's the difference between an MBE and I guess what you call a DBE? Is that the same thing? Because we have an MBE in the state of Ohio. Is there something I have to register for or register to be recognized to be on this project, or does the MBE from Ohio suffice?
For you to count in the goals that have been set by this project, you will need to be a certified DBE, which is a disadvantaged business enterprise, which is a federal certification, our states done through the states. The minority business enterprise is a certification and nationally recognized by the National Minority Supply Development Council. If you do work on this project as a part of being an MBE, your spend will not be counted against the goal. So only certified disadvantaged business enterprises, that's what DBE stands for, will be counted against the goal. Again, as you heard me mention, we will track because, you know, there may be times where we cannot find a certified DBE, as we have searched the databases across Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana, who meet the criteria of satisfying a scope of work, and a non-DBE will be utilized. So we will track that so that we can share that with the communities and agencies out there, but those award dollars will not count against the goal. Was that helpful, Aaron?
Yes, ma'am. So how do I guess I'll reach out to those different ODOT people that you had on the slide before to try to get registered as a DBE?
Yes, so if you are in Ohio, I would say reach out to Larry Brown. And his information is on this slide. He is in Ohio District 7, 8, and 9. I've got his email address on here as well as his telephone number.
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Hey, I see it's Andre. How are you? Good morning.
Hi, Andre. How are you doing?
Hey,
I've been trying to reach you, Andre.
I am going to follow up with you. I am going to reach out to you for sure. Great presentation. Quick question. With the federal funding in there, within that 7 and 9%, as a service disabled veteran, is there is that SDVOB included in the 7 or 9, or is there a separate set aside bucket for veteran owned?
No, there is no set aside for federal veteran owned. And that's why part of our outreach is also going after the veterans and service disabled veterans. And if they're not a DBE, we're asking them to become a DBE. Just recognize, again, as I said to Aaron, you know, if they are awarded, then it will not count against the goal.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, so I guess the same thing to applies if you're an 8A, switch over, or just make sure as an 8A to also get the DBE as well.
Absolutely. And so my coaching to all of the non-DBEs that I've been engaging with, well, two things I've been saying. For the DBEs who are already in the system, I have been encouraging people to really go look at your NIC codes and see if you have all of the necessary NIC codes of where you have been doing work over the last year, 2 years, or 5 years. Because many of you got certified years ago, but you've been doing additional work.
Right,
that may
right.
not be on your certification. So go back and relook at your certification, make sure that all of your NIC codes are captured, because one of the
Okay.
things that we'll be using is the NIC codes. For the non-DBEs, what I'm encouraging, if you're interested in this project and you are able to be a DBE, you know, go get certified, because this project, I mean, this transformation is bigger than just this one project, the Brent Spence Bridge. There are lots of construction and transportation work going across all 3 of these states, and it's been going on for the last 10 years. It's an
Yeah,
opportunity to get into this construction and transportation work so that you get to be known by these big primes or subcontractors. And there may be some teaming opportunities to team up with a large prime. And that's part of what MBDA does. And that's also part of what Apex, I'm hearing, is really working with their clients to ensure that they are provided as many opportunities as possible.
And I see that kind of leads us into a question in the chat from Andrea Russell. Where do ODOT DBEs locate current bid opportunities, if you know that?
I don't know the exact page on their website. I do know that they have it on their website. That is the ODOT .ohio website. But if they would get in touch with Larry Brown, based off of this information that I have on here, he will be able to tell them exactly where to go.
Did that answer your question? Hopefully.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
Will your DBE requirements be located on ODOT's and Kentucky websites when they are needed?
When you say when they are needed?
Well, when you have the requirements, will they be posted on the websites as well, like ODOT and Kentucky websites?
In terms of what is needed for certification?
Well, whenever you have opportunities.
That's a suggestion. I don't think we included that in our process. Something to think about, but once we have put a scope of work out there and we're starting to get quotes on it, we will be expecting the DBEs or the non-DBEs to already be certified.
So how would they know that you had an opportunity available?
We're working through that process right now
Okay.
and trying to get a standard process pulled together, but we are looking to be able to include that on the Brent Spence Bridge Quarter.com project, which is set up by the state. And then we will have a URL that will link directly to the Walsh Kokosing website, so that not only internally we'll be able to see what those scopes of work are, but any DBE or non-DBE that's interested in this work will be able to see that, along with agencies. So if you as Apex, you'll be able to go in there and see it, as well as MBDA or any other agency that gets notified about the scope of work that's out there.
Thank you.
And you know what, Icy, I just want to say really quickly, we are, for everyone on this call that is interested in this particular project, there's plenty of time for you to become DBE certified if you are not DBE certified currently. So the 1A does not start till April of 2024. So make sure you start as soon as possible with getting that DBE in place, because there is a little bit of time We're very early on with this project, so which is a good thing, to be this early and to have access to the information. So use that accordingly to put things in place to get you opportunity, get you access.
Mm-hmm. Our intent is to, over the next quarter is to try and do as much outreach as we possibly can. So we'll be across all 3 of the states, either doing webinars or doing in-person types of workshops, and then get the workshops down to the point where they are intentional workshops based upon a scope of work. If we're doing scope of work associated with design or surveying or mapping or whatever that is, we will make those workshops intentional and then invite in those DBEs and non-DBEs who are in that area in to talk more about what that scope of work is all about. Any other questions?
All right, hello. One additional question, this is Aaron again. My organization, we're in like material and fatigue testing, and I was trying, or pretty much like additive manufacturing. I wanted to see how we know that there are any opportunities for that on this project, as far as if, say, the company needed some type of materials or fatigue testing. How would we come across information like that? I've seen a lot of construction based, but is there any engineering opportunity as well?
I guess I was going to go back to those work scope items under construction. You're probably not going to find it under construction, but there. And I don't know if what you're talking about, is this Aaron that was speaking?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure if we'll find it under the 1A and 1B, which is the pre-construction, which is this design build phase right now. But I tell you what, if you send me your capability statement, Aaron, so that I can kind of see exactly what you're referencing in terms of your manufacturing capabilities and skills are, then we can have a one-on-one, and then I can kind of talk a little bit more based off of my understanding of what your products and services are.
Okay, that's fair. If you could leave your email in the chat, or is it anywhere I can find your email, or I can find you, look you up.
No, I'm gonna go back to that one. I'm bouncing through.
Oh, okay, I did. I got it. I screenshotted it. I do. I have your email. I apologize.
Okay, so it's williamsic@gmail.com.
Okay, I'll definitely email you the capability statement sometime today. I appreciate
Okay, then.
taking my question.
Again, if there's additional questions that come up after this webinar is over, don't hesitate to reach out to me. And if I don't have the response right now, I have a team of people who probably has the response other than myself, and I'll collaborate with them and we'll get a response back to you.
So was your response on you should sign up for the Brent Spence, so I can't even say it there. Brent
Sharon, I use BSB.
That's hard to say, isn't it?
It's
so
a tongue twister.
It is. I didn't try to say that all at one time. We did have a message from Dwight Lewis. Once we get certified, where or who do we contact for opportunities? So obviously, once you're DBE certified, you would want to watch ODOT's web or their website.
Yeah, the BSB.
And you also would want to definitely, if you haven't, you would definitely want to sign up with Apex, the Ohio Apex Accelerator. They can help you get your certification application together as well. And they can give you some ideas and tidbits, and they can help you get signed up and look at the right places as well. Do you have any other suggestions for them, Icy?
Well, if, like you say, if they've gone to the bsbquarter.com website, they can link to the Walsh Kokosing website.
Okay.
Then there's Apex or there's MBDA. And of course, there's my own contact information, our email addresses for Walsh Kokosing Design Build team. So those are like four different areas where you can go find out more information.
I see. This is Lisa. I put the site, the link to the BSB site on
In the chat.
Yes.
Did you put it in the chat?
Yes, I did. Yes. it's
Okay.
in the-
So go there first, and you can sign up on that website, and for all information and new things that happen, you'll get notified as things are changing on that website, and then any links that are linked to other websites.
Okay.
So start there. And then if you don't get the response that you need from as it pertains to job opportunities or work opportunities or scope opportunities, reach out to myself or this Walsh Kokosing Brent Spence at walshgroup.com. Okay.
Now that I know how hard that is to say. And by the way, just so you know, this has been recorded. This recording will be located on the apex.ohio.edu website. And I will email the PDF of this presentation out to everybody that attended today.
And Sharon, can you also share with me who the attendees were from
Yes.
this? Okay.
Oh.
So that we can capture those and put them on our contact list and our communication list. So as things are going out from Walsh Kokosing, they are included in that information shout out.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
And with that, if there are no other questions, which I don't see anymore, our time is actually up. So it was great to learn about this today. I think thank you so much for sharing. And we appreciate your time today and effort, and everybody that showed up today and listened and had some great questions. Yeah, it was great. And thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. And the same to everyone who's on here. And thanks for the collaboration team.
Yes, and
Thank
Andrea,
you,
thank you
guys.
too.
Yeah, thanks, Sharon. Make sure you send me that information as well.
I will. All
Will do.
right.
All right, thanks, Icy. To be continued, ma'am.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.